Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EJG 3 show. This is your host, Eddie Gallagher. This episode, we will talk about Bills versus Dolphins, also Tua's injury, and also Week 2 NFL bets. Okay, so let's start off with some serious news. I want to talk about the Tua injury. So obviously, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa suffered about I think his third concussion in his NFL career. Um and obviously Tua was ruled out um of the game in the third quarter after a play which he scrambled, tried to get the first down, which he did. He lowered his shoulder to initiate contact with Bills safety Damar Hamlin. It looked like he um hit DeMar with his helmet, and that's why Tua he always does this. He freezes with his hands, and it's scary, But it wasn't like a major blow up hit. It was just a normal hit, and Tua obviously froze up. Was on the ground. Obviously, uh, luckily he got up. He was moving around. I think after the game, all the guys were saying Tua was in great spirits. Um, but it's a scary thing to watch, because I didn't like how the broadcast showed Tua's injuries or his concussions in the Bills Dolphins game where Matt Milano tackled him a couple years ago. The Thursday night game versus the Bengals. I thought it should have been a private moment because I didn't want to see those hits because those were some nasty hits. But, you know, NFL is a tough game, guys get hurt, and it it's a shame because Tua seemed like a great guy, and it was sad watching because you see how passionate Tua is. He wants to prove everybody that he is this good quarterback that can beat good teams, that can play in cold weather. So I think he was trying to provide a little extra during that play because you never really see Tua scramble, but obviously he did, and it's sad. It's one of those things where what comes next for the young man, and I hear a lot of people saying, "Well, he should retire. Go to broadcasting." And in my opinion, I think you should really trust the medical team. And also, Tua has had his conversation with his family and the loved ones uh, surrounding him. And I also think the NFL should get involved, because it seems like that one player is getting the most concussions. And obviously, you want to worry about the future, not now. I think Tua will be fine now, but down the road, will CTE impact him? That's the real question. So I do think Tua, in my opinion, will go back and play in the NFL. But obviously, that's his decision to make. But it's just sad. Hopefully he's healthy. I'm praying for him to come back healthy and strong, and hopefully he doesn't get concussed. But it's scary when a guy freezes up and just he can't get up, and it just sucks. It really does. And obviously Tua, he wasn't playing well. He threw 3 interceptions. Uh, they were losing big, and that's another big question. Why was Tua in the game when you're losing by over 3 touchdowns? That's a good question. Do you sit him? I mean, but obviously, as a competitor, you're trying to come back, make it a closer game, but it's just tough to see. And obviously, Tua seems like a great guy to be around, and it's just awful. But hopefully, he comes back healthy, and I can't wait to hear him say something about its not only its health but also his future. Um, so I'm very interested in that. Mike Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Dolphins, he said Tua will undergo some testing and evaluation before they decide how to proceed. The NFL return to participation protocol is a five-step process that accumulates in a team's physician concurring with an independent neurological consultant that a player can safely play again. Um, but it's not about the evaluation. Like I said, it's about the evaluation in the future. So we'll see. Um, but as a competitor, I think Tua will be back playing football. But obviously, everyone's thinking about the young man, and hopefully he comes back healthy. And whatever he decides to do, I think people will say, okay, that's his decision. But the next time he gets a concussion, a lot of media and fo- maybe the NFL will say, step in and be like, you know what, Tua, you're done. You're not playing anymore. But we'll see. But I am glad that he got his money. And for players holding out, good for you. You know what? You got to get that bag. Got to get those guaranteed money because the NFL is not always guaranteed. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get injured for long periods of time. So I'm glad that Tua definitely got his money. And hopefully we'll see him out there soon, but who knows? But I do want to talk about the game, Dolphins, Bills. Uh, I thought the Dolphins had a lot of pressure to win that game. You have the wide receivers, Waddle and Tua. I know one of their running backs were out, but they just got manhandled. They got out physicaled. Um, you had James Cook finishing the game with just 11 carries for 78 yards with 3 touchdowns. I think to me, the Dolphins defense, that is a concern because you didn't play well versus Jacksonville. They kind of got lucky, let's just say, because Jacksonville was winning the whole game and obviously got manhandled by Buffalo. So if I'm the Dolphins, I'm very concerned, not just to its injury, but just how you played overall. Um, I just thought the 3 interceptions were killer. You can't turn the ball over against Josh Allen. He's going to make you pay. But what I loved about the Bills' perspective is that they ran the football. I think, you know, we're so the Bills are so Josh Allen reliant that it's good to have games like these. They're running the football, they're playing good defense. Josh Allen only went 13 for 19 for 139 yards passing, and I believe he had 2 carries for only 2 yards. So, I mean, a lot of them were kneel downs. Uh, but I think that's the way you go. You run the football, you play good defense. Obviously, bad news for the Buffalo Bills. Starting middle linebacker Terrell Bernard. He has a pectoral muscle. He will probably be out for a month, which that is a not a good sign for Buffalo. You got uh Bernard's out, you got Taron Johnson out, you got Matt Milano out. Just a lot of injuries accumulating for the Buffalo Bills defense, who, by the way, stepped up. You know, short week, uh, against a more explosive offense in the Dolphins, and they just manhandled. giving up 10 points, which is uh, really impressive in the NFL because it seems like teams are scoring at will. Um, but I do like the fact that the Bills offense is running the football because they really couldn't do that with Singletary. Um, but Shakir only had 5 receptions with 54 yards, and Dalton Kincaid, I was wondering why they didn't give him the ball in week one, but he had 4 receptions with 33 yards. Um, so I think the tight ends will be a huge part, and obviously Shakir will have a big time role. And it seems like he's Josh Allen's go to man. So I like the fact that the Bills are playing good defense. They're running the ball. I know Tyler Bass missed a field goal, but it, we were blowing them out, which it don't matter. You got to make your field goal kicks. Um, but I really like the fact that the Bills came out with some urgency, and obviously they played Jacksonville in week 3. I also want to go with how much pressure does Aaron Rodgers have? You know, obviously the Jets played really bad. They got crushed by the 49ers, which, 49ers are a good team, but without Christian McCaffrey, it don't matter. But I didn't realize how bad, we always say the Jets defense is top of the league, but they look like they got manhandled. They look like they were out of shape. And I thought Robert Saleh, he knew and he was coach under Kyle Shanahan, which was surprising. You thought it would be a lot closer game. And I was shocked how Aaron Rodgers threw one side of the field. I think that's concerning. He only really threw it to Lazard and Garrett Wilson, who Garrett Wilson is obviously spectacular. Um, but this is a big pressure game. The line is only 3.5. I'm curious if the Jets hypothetically lose this game, is week 3 a must win game? Because obviously we don't know the situation with the Dolphins because obviously Tua is injured. Patriots are 1-0, which it could be a fluke, but their defense looks spectacular. And it's still early in the season, so they're going to go all out. This is a must win for the Jets if they really want to do something special this season. And they're on the road, short week, lines 3.5. I don't think Will Levis is a good quarterback. Um, but if they somehow lose this game, the Jets are in trouble. I don't think they will, but you have to look at it at the big perspective. Robert Sala's on the hot seat. If he loses, that seat's only going to get hotter. And obviously, the Bills clearly did not take a step back. They're still the best team in the AFC East, in my opinion. So this is a big time game for the New York Jets. And it's just fascinating. All right. Let's go to Houston versus the Bears. This is a big time game for Caleb Williams. He struggled in week 1, and that game was in a corner television. I didn't really pay much attention to that game because they were playing Tennessee. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on him. And if he struggles, I don't want to judge Caleb, but are we wondering, gosh, is this guy the right guy to be a starting quarterback in the NFL? Um, Now, obviously, all the rookies struggled in week one, but this is a big time game for this young man. You know, the NFL put him on Sunday Night Football because they think he's the future. They think that this guy's a big time talent. And if he under delivers, are we going to question, hey, this guy's not as good as we thought, And I think Caleb Williams will play a lot better than he did week one. I think rookies get adjusted every single game. They get better and better. Um, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays. Um, and obviously Houston Texans side, they're 1-0. They look good on offense. Stephon Diggs scored 2 touchdowns in week one. How does he play against his tough Bears defense? I think that's going to be quite a real question. Because I really didn't watch the Colts defense that much, but Bears defense is one of the best in the league. Um, I think it's a critical game for obviously Houston because if they win, they're the real deal. If Caleb Williams plays better, we see a lot of progress and he could become the future. We want to see, hey, can this guy get better every single week? Um, so I think that's a great game to watch. Uh, I also am very curious in the Chiefs Bengals game. Obviously, hopefully, it, the Bengals play a lot better because obviously they lost week one to the Patriots. The Chiefs with that long rest. How do they but not only bounce back, but how do they say, okay, long rest, we're gonna play another physical team that's it seems like it's a must win for the Bengals. So I want to see, hey, on the Bengals, I'm mostly watching the Bengals perspective because I want to see, hey, does that wrist affect Joe Burrow? Does that calf affect Joe Burrow? So I'm not worried about the Chiefs really, but more worried about the Bengals because I want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs because he's a big time talent and he's a really good football player. Okay, week two, NFL bets. Week one, we went 1-1-1. We got the one void, Seattle -6. They were basically winning the whole game. It was a good bet. The loss, I'm disappointed. Houston Texans -3 over the Colts. I did not get it, but I'm so happy that the Lions got my back. It was -3.5. So happy. I'm so happy that I got that bet. It took me to overtime. I'm sorry, I believe it was like -4, my bad. But the Lions covered versus the Rams. So my first bet, Lions -7.5 versus the Bucks. I get it, playing in overtime. Are the Lions going to come out tired? I don't think so. The Bucks defense, they have a lot of injuries. Um, the Lions are at home in their building. I think that's very important. I think they'll be loud. I think I think they'll be ready. I think Dan Campbell will get them ready. I like Jared Goff. And plus, I think they can still run the football effectively. And obviously, Baker Mayfield, he has good weapons, but I think he will turn the ball over a few times. So I like Lions -7.5 versus the Bucks. My second bet, uh, 49ers -5 versus Minnesota. I get it. A lot of people are on Minnesota. I'm not. I think the 49ers will come out hot. I know Christian McCaffrey will be on the IR. I don't think that matters. Kyle Shanahan is really good on short weeks, and Minnesota's quarterback is still Sam Darnold. I'm gonna fade Sam Darnold. I'm gonna fade Sam Darnold as much as I can, um, because I don't trust Sam Darnold at all. So I like 49ers -5, and I think they can really, really blow out Minnesota here. Even though it's in Minnesota, you got Justin Jefferson. I get it. Offensive coach. Um, but I like 49ers -5. Now, my favorite bet of the week is Cowboys -6.5 versus Saints. I think the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, as a heavy favorite. It's a pretty good record. Um, I don't think the Saints are very good at all. They need to, their best cornerback is not playing. Um, so I think CD Lamb will eat. I think the Cowboys will blow out the Saints. It's scary taking heavy favorites, but I really do like all those bets. Lions -7.5, 49ers -5, Cowboys -6.5. Because I don't trust Derek Carr or Dennis Allen. Congratulations, you beat the Carolina Panthers. I'm not gonna over evaluate your team. Do it again, then we'll talk how good you are, the New Orleans Saints. Um, but obviously those are my bets. I hope Tua is healthy. I hope we see him in week 3. But it's a lot of great matchups in week 2. I'm curious about Denver and Pittsburgh. I think that's an interesting game. But um, a lot of great football. It was a great win by the Bills last Thursday. So yeah, I'm excited for week 2. Um, it's gonna be interesting if the Jets and Bengals lose in week 2, because that's gonna create a lot of conversation, not only for the head coaches, but for the quarterbacks also. So I'm excited. I can't wait. And we'll talk to you soon.